welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Shadow Empire. This is on the map submitted by a member of the Reddit community. If you haven't watched some of the earlier parts, feel free to go back and watch some of the earlier parts. If you're watching on Twitch, that is available over on the YouTube channel, which is WillCole100. And I am streaming this live to Twitch under the username WillCole. At the moment, I am doing a little bit of dog watching for the extended family, specifically for my parents. So this is the dog I am actively watching. This is Cindy. It was raining today, and Cindy wanted to be out in the rain. And then there were fireworks, and Cindy wanted to try to find the fireworks. So I had a wet dog to deal with today. So you can see her in a towel as I attempt to dry her off, as she finally remembers to eat the rest of her breakfast. So that's what the picture is of Cindy. I'll put the dog away. This is sort of me paying the dog tax for what's going on at the moment. And we'll get into the game. So I'll bring that back up at the end of the stream. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can probably tell where the beginning and the end of the stream will be. And yeah, this has been going on long enough that if you're just joining us on Twitch and have not seen earlier parts, you're probably missing some parts. Although you probably easily turned like 2x speed or 4x speed. And other than me sounding weird, you wouldn't have too much of a difficulty following along. The interns sometimes can be a little bit boring. As usual, we should have ended on the end of a turn or a stream, so it should be ready to hit end turn here. We're picking up at the beginning of the stream, technically in 8th, basically the last of the still alive factions. Although this is hiding a little bit of a situation that has improved. We have this miner as a protectorate. I think this miner is a protectorate, and I may even have a third somewhere as a protectorate. Not you. Take it around to protectorating these guys. I think so. That's the easiest way to check that. Probably stat cards, miners, offer protection will show me. Okay, so it's not going to show me about these guys because I've done something to these guys this turn. These guys are our protectorate. These guys are. I can tell, well, in this case this is protected by me, and okay, we haven't protected these guys yet. We've made peace with them, so we've got 3 population centers that we may be able to add to our country fairly easily, but are not yet part of our country. So that's actually almost 250,000 people. Each one of those are bigger than our entire country, people. So yeah, we have a good potential to sort of slingshot here from last way up the rankings here. We just haven't yet done that, partially because we need to, you know, control the territory between those 2 places. So, for example, we're getting pretty close to this one, and this one will be a big boon. This is 250,000 population. Our tiny country is only 100,000, so it's going to more than triple the nation there, which will happily take us out of last. In fact, if it's more than tripling the nation, yeah, that might be enough to take us up to, like, 3rd with just that one. And the other ones are about the same size. So yeah, we stand the chance to go from, like, last to 1st. Of course, we run the risk of losing those population centers if we can't close the gap. So that's what we're going to be working on over the next couple streams. We're with slavers here. Actual elimination of the slavers is going to be a little limited due to them being in mountains, and the construction cost of getting supplies into those mountains. We may almost be at the point where I can start to mobilize against the other one over here. And if we do that, then we can let them get militant with us, and then these guys should be easy enough to push out into the sea. Bring up some more forces. Nonsense reasons. Construction-wise, we are slow-rolling the heavy industry. Underestimated how expensive that would be. Hubris catching up to me there. Prospecting, nothing really to worry about. And yeah, let's cycle a turn. I can probably refresh my understanding to the viewer while we're doing this end turn here. So we'll let the end turn start. So currently, the last stream, I think we ended up getting rid of the mutants to the north. So we now got one large non-aligned to the north between us and a major. To the west, we have slavers. To the east, we have slavers between us and our protectorate. To the south, we have Survivor AI, and a little bit of non-aligned in here, I think. Or no, that's actually the major. So we've just touched the major to the south. There's a little bit of non-aligned there. And arguably well, maybe we don't want to get rid of them, because I still remember what happened to the unit that tried to get rid of them last time. But we do want them stuck there. We don't want them running around. We want them to attrit themselves down, attacking us, because it's not worth going in against them. And this is like a swarm of space fauna. So probably the most earthly equivalent I could bring up is a herd of buffalo or the emus from the Emu War in Australia. They're individually not particularly threatening, but there's 73,000 of them. Or no, 7,300 of them. So 7,000 of them there. And when the 7,000 of a stampeding enemy, even if they're not trying to eat your face, they're dangerous enough. They're not small animals. Yeah, we want to get rid of them, although we don't need to be super proactive about that. I want to be more proactive about the slavers. I want to be more proactive about the surviving AI. The big problem there is we don't really have... Well, in the case of the AI, we don't have foot AT. So it's going to be hard getting into the mountains to deal with them. And then the slavers is all about road costs. It's getting the roads deep enough into the mountain that we can get rid of them. Oh, and I did screw up near the end of the last one. The Accessibility 9 metal mine ran out of metal, which doesn't mean it doesn't have any more metal. It means we have to do peripheral mining to put more metal in the mine. I think at the end of the last stream, I did the peripheral mining, so I should be presented, when it comes back around to our turn, presented with the decision of which mine I want to expand, and obviously the one that has a donut for the mount is the one we're going to pick, so it's not a donut anymore. Or, well, maybe it'll have a donut, but it'll have some stuff with the donut. It won't just be 1, 0, it'll be many numbers. And we want many numbers, not one number, for the contents. And then we'll start getting iron again. At some point, we'll have to contemplate potentially just building more industry the hard way. Which is one way to deal with mountain ranges like this. Just build enough industry that you just don't care that it costs 800 industry a hex. That hurts, of course, but sometimes that's what you gotta do. Right now, I don't think we're really suffering from action point malices anywhere. Although, to preempt that, or at least delay that, we do want to get around to sealing the roads. So, you can see we've sealed the road out to the oil well. That we needed to do. We were suffering action point issues before that. The rest we don't need to do. Although we maybe are suffering some action point issues this far out. That's a pretty distance there. But I think we have enough action points to make it to the city there. And certainly if it was sealed. And then eventually we'll want to afford... I tend to like putting rail lines between my cities, so I can just strategically redeploy full brigades back and forth if I need to. And you can do that with rail. You can't always do that with trucks, especially because you tend to, or at least I tend to spiderweb the the truck roads, whereas the rail is usually just a straight shot city to city. So I do the heavy freight on the rail, and I do final mile on the truck. In Twitch chat saying, "Damn, that's a line of troops." Yeah, when you're dealing with very mobile, very dispersed units, it can be useful to just have a tight picket. And this is what this is. This is basically a whole line of line infantry, light line infantry. Because individually they don't necessarily need to be very strong. I just need a lot of tags to keep the surviving AI from sneaking around behind me. Or earlier, the slavers had motorized. Well, no, this was armored vehicles, right? So they had armored buggies and armored tanks, which had the mobility to just sort of slip through any crack and cause so much problems in the rear area. As we deal with the problems we have with our neighbors, the line is going to start spreading out, because outside of like slavers and surviving AI and majors, I usually don't need a full tight picket. I'll go like to loose picket, probably then aligned. Because at least against the non-aligned, you can usually get away as long as the zone of controls touch. You can usually keep things fairly well controlled with the wildlife. So yeah, I could get about 3 times as much borderage covered with the armory if we weren't up against slavers and surviving AI. But yeah, the Twitch chatter saying, "Damn, that is not a line. That's a line of troops." Isn't the first person in the run to say that, and arguably the line was liner before. I think it went all the way up here. Actually, went all the way up to like here at one point. That was before we dealt with them. Or actually, it went up there and around while we were dealing with the mutants. Once the mutants got dealt with, right? All aligned here are a lot less likely to just come barreling in and causing problems. So we've been able to start to spread out and focus on the actual problems and have a thinner picket over here. But yeah, at one point we were literally just an encirclement of infantry to keep things out of the interland. And now we're a little less paranoid about the non-aligned because they're, unlike the mutants, they're less likely to just roll into our rear. If anything, I probably got the line up there a little too loose, but again, it's not a line. That's not a super concern. And Twitch chat saying the non-aligned have a habit of doing what you least want them to do, especially the wildlife. Yeah. Well, this is wildlife over here. We can see the 7,500 stack, right? So it's 7,500 wildlife. They're gonna do whatever they want. But yeah, they have a habit of doing whatever you want them to do least. But at least they're a little bit less prone to just having motorized forces that roll through a tiny little void in your defensive area. So here we are, round 117. We have 7 decisions. Some of which we must deal with before we can end the turn. Mind over autocracy. It's probably where we're going, right? Yeah, we're trying to go merit, well. Was I trying to do government this run? I think it was probably commerce. Yeah, it was probably commerce. But yeah, I think I was trying to do merit, commerce, mind. Merit's obviously the stretch goal. Merit is always one of those where sometimes you just get told, you're going democracy today. Or autocracy, one of the two. And merit doesn't work. So yeah, autocracy down, mind up. We're getting invited to dinner. We're going to say no.
Aye, sir.
That's one of the reasons why enforcement's up. You want us to give us a candidate. Okay.
We'll go.
He may be assigned to infantry command at some point. Design focus, yeah. Scrap or clean. 700 credits now, or 1 PP a turn. We'll take the 1 political power turn. Extend the mine. We're going with that option, probably. One of our mines, the mine, in fact, that we were mining for all our metal, is empty. We'd like it not to be empty.
Order received.
Please fix that. Okay, so they've rolled off, and the result is 14.8 thousand more metal. However, and this is a particularly bad result, we lost 3 E's of mining levels for that. So we dropped from 9 to 6. Offer to buy slaves. I do want the commerce. I don't want the merit loss. But in this case, we're going to say yes, because I don't want these guys too pissed off here right now.
Roger that.
Eventually, we're going to turn around and say no repeatedly until they get the hint. But that's not today. Okay, we're out of metal. Although that doesn't stop me from building roads. Although the roads that I want to build are probably like that. Although probably not sealed for the first. Yeah, 6,000 or 640 just to go 1 hex. Because we want to go to that city. So we need 2,000 or so to get over the mountain here. This is the thinnest place that isn't going around to go to that location. Okay, I don't exactly have the logistics here to continue out an attack into slavers. So I'll probably pull them back, move the pick elsewhere. We'll try to save up the industry. Because yeah, with this sort of mountain range, I tend to find getting roads running up both sides of the mountain instead of trying to run along the mountain. It's often better. So that probably means we want to get in contact with Adam's Mark here over here, Bolton's Fort. We do have them as a protectorate, so they should be on the path to becoming one with us. Although that might take a while, because that's going to require a pretty good roll. That note... did I lose my reconnaissance contact with... No, that's them. Okay, so these guys we want to make our protectorate. If I just smash the button as is, we got a 2% chance of failure. We rolled a 1 or a 2, we'd fail. 3+ is success. So I'm just going to take that as is.
Roger that.
And in fact, we did succeed. Sounds good. So I could have got a critical success there. So farmers and guardians over here. Gonna get the offer client state off on the guardians. Unlikely. Well, I say unlikely. I do have access to Shadow Diplomat, so I can make it unlikely with the Shadow Diplomat. It is impossible without the Shadow Diplomat. Not to give a false sense of how doable that was. Oh, we found the host. Do we still have enough movement? We do. Okay. Bring tanks to deal with the local wildlife. Oh, we even lose a tank against them. Ow. Okay, so we got them in the border between us and the other major, so that's fine. So that's an example of wildlife. Oh, I should have looked at the battle report when we ended up. I could have shown you how many were there, and there was a lot there. We did win the fight, didn't necessarily take a lot of losses. Oh, I can't do any more replacements because we are out of metal. That'll fix itself. Theory over the next turn to... Metal's probably prohibitively expensive to buy. Yeah, not paying 10 credits per metal. I got a decent amount of money, so we're going to try an improvised IP, get some more industry.
Order received.
Okay, that was a decent return on investment there. I may want to do that high-tech vault at some point. I didn't realize I had one of those in my stockpile.
Order received.
Okay, let's not burn through all the book power. Let's end the turn here. Yeah, I think I've covered everything I want to talk about in the game for the moment. So we're just going to watch the end turn here. If everything goes according to plan, it should be a fairly boring end turn. At this point, the thing that's keeping the slavers to the east alive is the terrible ship-friendly logistics in high mountains. So we're not expecting them to attack. The surviving AI could. Although the surviving AI is coming in subunits of 1. The big thing that's kind of going for them, again, is logistics. They're in high mountains. Also, being a surviving AI, they're, I think, technically like walkers or something. So they're pretty heavily armored for this early in the game. Which is to say, I think they're only wearing like 25mm armor. Twitch chat saying, hello, how is it going? It's going reasonably well. And spied green GR. So GR stands for Galactic Republic, yeah. So the certain Galactic Republic tech cards we have. Being more tempted by that high-tech vault, although I don't think I need the high-tech parts right now. If for no other reason than playing it would potentially get me the high-tech parts I need to build the high-tech industry later. We'll need like 20 high-tech parts to do that. And Twitch chat saying the Galactic Republic medium tank is so damn good, though. It depends. It depends upon the terrain you're fighting in. Right now, it would not help me with the problems I have, which is digging troops out of high mountains. Tanks, for some reason, don't work very well in mountains. Even the Galactic Republic ones don't work well in the mountains. Kind of the problem I'm into. Once I have the once I have the industry to be building roads north, like the plains up here would probably be a good place for Galactic Republic tanks to work in. Although I'd have to get there before the other major does. Once we're across, maybe run up the coastline here would again be another good place for the tanks. But yeah, a lot of my problems right now are all centered around the local mountains and hills. Kind of makes the tanks we did use tanks earlier. In fact, we still got a batch of tanks. They helped a lot with the mutants. And granted, I didn't have the Galactic Republic access for that tank prior to dealing with the mutants. I think we've destroyed most of the Slavers' vehicles. The Slavers did have a bunch of armored vehicles, but they've got left are actually stuck up in the mountains because, well, we just run into one stack that's stuck. Because they spawn in sometimes in locations where units can't move without a road. Wheeled and tracked units can't move in the high mountains. Which is what actually makes the things like the Galactic Republic medium tank terrible in the mountains. Is, well, if they can't move unless you go to road, we don't got a road, they can't really help with the attack. They can be pretty useful in the defense, but we're not defending anymore. Suppose Adams over here does have a couple of ruins. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we'll get lucky once we annex them. There'll be something in the ruins. Or at least the ruins will be providing some rare earth metals, which is good in its own way. We haven't found a rare earth metal mine yet. So I don't remember what the state of our research is. I should check up on that and get back to our turn. Should be coming up on us soon, I think. So this is one other thing we can kind of take advantage of. We don't kill the non-aligned forces. Is the non-aligned forces can take territory from the other majors. and then we can take that territory from the non-aligned. It's one way to kind of sneakily take some territory off of other majors, is to keep the neutrals in the gray zone between you alive, and hope that the neutrals move towards the other guy. Okay, we're picking up where we left off last time on round 118. We killed 800 infantry over the end turn, and we have 2 decisions. Oop, I didn't complete my demand there. Probably fine. What I was looking for was history. So we had... Okay, so that's where we killed the 800. Acrobat arachnids attacked, and we fought them off. So industry's going up because we didn't have the metal for the heavy industry, the ammo factory, but that's fine. Metal mine is now, or should now soon be coming back in operation. Hopefully. If it doesn't come in operation next turn, I'm going to nationalize the mine. What might have happened is... Oh no, in theory we got enough private workers, so they should work it. They may not have turned it back on yet, or only just turned it back on. Decision-wise, you want a special exemption. We'll lower democracy gain mine. Diplomacy, once again, this is them offering to sell slaves. I run the risk of them attacking us if I say no here, and we can't afford it, so we will accept this at least one more time. Grab another improvised
Order
IP.
received.
With that, we may actually be able to afford the road into the mountains there. Made you a protectorate last turn. You're within viable range for becoming a client state, so let's do that. Shadow Diplomat, Director, Affairs,
Roger
play. Minor, client state, them. So, guaranteed to succeed, questions to get a critical success. No, got a regular one. That's fine. And then we still have another client state. That's going to be a little bit of a stretch. And a little bit of a stretch. So if I did a diplomat on there, that would be... It's a 46% chance to succeed. Diplomat's, I think, plus 50. Well, this one already has a 7%, so we'd be... I suppose that one might be worth trying to roll. Do we have another diplomat? Yes. Director, Foreign Affairs.
Roger that.
Minor. Offer client state. Yeah, so the worst that's going to happen is there's a 2% chance we hit a critical failure.
Roger that.
And we succeeded. Okay, so they're now officially client state. that will make it easier to unify with them later. Because they'll be rolling 2d100 instead of 3d100, the unification roll. One more road hex in. So yeah, once I get the road to about there, you may start trying to roll to unify with them. Okay. Why did I make so much money over the end turn? That is a question I have. Ah, because we earned 7,000 credits in sales tax from York. Only because York, York just built a bunch of buildings. Yeah, get up some new buildings. And yeah, if the civilian metal mine isn't operating, come back to our turn. I'm going to nationalize it. I need it to be producing metal. And it should restart on its own now that I've put some metal in the metal mine, but I'm not going to be patient for it if it doesn't fix itself quickly. Oh, I forgot to check the tech progress from the research and councils. Okay, should be shortly coming up on us. And a little bit more industry for roads going south. We could probably be taking advantage of the fact that we got that horde of beasts going into the neighboring territory. Bliss Estate, round 119. We have 7 decisions. We've researched RPG. Okay, so that answers the question of what we were doing for the Military Council. We researched the propeller engine. Explains what we were doing with the Air Force Council. What were we doing with the Eco Council? It's presumably still doing. Geotectonics. Okay, so that'll help with the roads being super expensive. You want us to take the leaders from 19 to 22? That's easy enough to do. We'll agree to that. I don't really want democracy. Might take the democracy one, because democracy is going to be pretty easy to do. Qual in the zones, reach 87. Which is this more security, entertainment. That'd be a little bit of gambling on the private sector fixing it for me, but we'll take that. I don't want the democracy, but that's fine.
Sir, yes, sir.
That's fine. We need to pick what we want to replace the military one with. Probably rocketry right now. Because we want 4 from chemistry to get access to advanced chemistry. If hydroponics have RPG, do rocketry. If we get lucky, we'll discover guided before we're done with rocketry. Plus rockets.
Roger that.
You right now got rocket engine. This is probably not a planet where rocket engine makes sense. So I'm actually going to do... Well, I suppose if my goal is to get to advanced chemistry, rocket engine would do that. Rocket engine would do that. Really we want turboprop. Or helicopter. Yeah, I suppose we'll start with rocket engine. Worst case scenario, we can change it later. Our capital is large enough right now that we can upgrade it to a major or a minor city. I'm actually going to say no to that right now.
Copy that.
And the reason is I just did a quest involving getting the quality of life up. Making the city bigger is actually going to make it harder to get the quality of life up. Because in the short term, it'll actually lower it. And we're going to say yes again. Well, I could probably get away with saying no after I say yes this time. This one time without having it escalate. Okay, the metal didn't flow. The metal mine is now online, though. Okay, so the metal mine is working. It's just we have an ongoing construction project, so it's all getting dumped to the construction project, probably. Yeah. Can I afford to get the road off? Oh no, it's sealed. 400 there, 60 there. That would be up on another mountain, so we want to go around the mountain, so 40 there. And then we can sort of gently walk the vehicles forward. Nonsense. Acquired us this X. Which has 100 free folk on it. Okay, I was hoping for a little bit more when I saw the free folk house. Okay, you didn't get any supply there. We're gonna back you up a little bit so you can get some food brought in. We do want to hold that hex. In the long run, we probably will be able to. We need to build that dirt road. There's another 640 industry, which isn't too oppressive. We can look at what the unification is for the neighbor. We're not ready to do it yet. So yeah, getting them to be a client state dropped it from a 3D100 to 2D100. So it's 2D100 plus 138 in comparison to RD100 and 125. So we need to roll 13 better than their roll, which is doable but isn't easy with a 2D100 on their side. In theory, they could roll up to 200. They're going to average about 101. And obviously, if they're averaging about 101, we're averaging about 51. That's going to be a bit hard to do plus 13. It's not impossible. I've definitely done that before. And unification has no drawback to failing, so you just keep rolling. Just keep trying. The alternative, and there is a drawback to the alternative, is annexation. Oh, and the annexation is even harder. So we would definitely not do an annexation. We'd just be doing unification. Annexation is the become one with us or else option. And that obviously has consequences when it fails. Other cards. Could do another private investment. Be the worst of plans. Yeah, we'll drop a private investment.
Order received.
Put some more credits in the treasury so we can get paid those credits later. Zone reasonably likes me.
Standing by for orders.
We have a decent amount of money. So we're gonna talk to the slave trader, pick up some people.
Copy that.
Another 2,000 people. That'll help with getting the private sector to build up more quality of life. Because they don't necessarily want to overemploy everyone. So this should be working. We should be getting metal coming in, although we're going to be struggling with it in the short term. So food is the only thing we can... That's the buy. Okay, so they're just out of stuff. We could buy metal at outrageous prices. Although that's maybe a little tempting. Yeah, let's sell... I'm desperate enough for metal. We're going to sell petrol, buy metal.
Affirmative.
Is that enough to do my replacements at least? Yeah. I may move troops back to the SHQ to put down the crime lord. I'm not appreciative of the fact that they've killed 900 troops. Because this unit, I believe, is 900 machine guns short. So they're hampering my defensive operations. But yeah, I think we're gonna be for cycling the turn, so let's cycle the turn. Looking at the end, or looking at the time right now, we're gonna play out this end turn, we're gonna see how things go, and then we're gonna put the part break in for YouTube, and take a short break on Twitch. The run will continue. We're gonna try to record 3 more parts tonight, for a total of 4. Okay, so seeing the Major to the south taking back some of the land from the Horde. Although, we'll have to see if the roving band of wildlife takes more territory from them. Okay, now it's an aligned turn, so we may see if the wildlife takes over some of the Major's territory here. I would really appreciate if they did take over that shelter, and then I could take over the shelter from them. Although it looks like they haven't done that. Probably didn't move this turn. Or if they did, they'd move towards Major units to the east. The pocket, so they moved like from there to there. That might not have expanded the pocket because there's probably guys over here. Because we know that hex got taken. Okay, back around to us, round 120. We will have 5 decisions in the next part. If you're watching on YouTube, that will be tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm going to take a short break to see if the dog wants to go out. And then I will be back to record the next part. So until the next part, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.